Divorce and selling a house or moving are two of the most stressful life events a person can go through. It's no wonder couples find it hard to be nice during the transition. Who has to leave the house in a divorce, or who gets to stay in the house during a separation? Who is entitled to equity in the house? We'll discuss these questions in today's video and more, but don't forget to check out the download. Hi, I'm Laura Clute with Ozark Realty, and I work with lakefront sellers who are animal owners. I've been in real estate for 14 years and sold over $20 million worth of real estate. But enough about me. One of the first things you should do once you've decided to divorce is talk to a real estate agent. Even if you decide not to sell your house, they can help you figure out the value with a marketing analysis. Any liabilities of the home can then be deducted so you can figure out the equity of your home. With this information, each spouse can decide what they are able to do and how they wish to proceed. Make sure you contact a realtor you are both comfortable with so that the lines of communication can be open between all of you through the entire transaction. The reason you want to talk to real estate early on is the best time to sell a home is before the divorce process has started. This keeps the motivation of your sale from buyers, and you are more likely to get a better offer. If you can stay in the home together during the listing period, it does make it show better. It's easy for an educated buyer or maybe a valuable buyer's agent to notice empty closets, missing pictures, and furniture. You don't want them making a low offer if the home looks split up, so make sure to keep your home show ready. The worst time to be selling a house is during divorce. The house will show signs of someone leaving, and the court records will show the divorce is in process. A buyer is likely to use this to their advantage and make a much lower offer on the home than it is worth, and you and your spouse will lose equity. It is still important during this time to make the home look lived in and not abandoned or having missing pieces. You will need to communicate with your spouse not only about payments on the mortgage and utilities, but also who's going to maintain the home during the listing process, who's going to get it ready for all the showings, and who's going to make the repairs that the buyer requests. Be prepared to communicate throughout the process for negotiations of the sale price, on the inspections, and anything else that the buyer asks for throughout the process. Don't let your judgment be clouded by your feelings toward your spouse or the trauma of the divorce. Make smart decisions about your bottom line. Not as good as before the divorce, but better than during the divorce is selling the house after the judgment. There's only one decision maker at this point to decide on negotiations, repairs, and maintenance. Buyers may know the motivation, but it's not quite as clear since the divorce is already completed. It's still important to fill any open spaces a leaving spouse may have caused, and you'll want to make sure to get the leaving spouse off the title as part of the divorce, so they don't have to be there to sign at the closing. The spouse left to sell the house will be in complete control of the results and the only one to sign the final paperwork. Who has to leave the house in a divorce? Well, you do have a couple options about you can go about that, depending on if you own the home before you were married or if you bought it together. Of course, if one of you wasn't paying the bills and didn't tell the other one, you have a possibility of going into foreclosure, but it could have also been addressed in a prenuptial agreement. Of course, I'm no lawyer, and you should get legal advice for questions about the divorce. But there are some possibilities, including selling the house and dividing the proceeds, most common. One of the spouses can buy out the other spouse and stay in the home. You could do a deferred sale and just co-own it for a while, or you could divide up large assets, including the home, but not split the home evenly. So we'll talk about these a little bit more in detail. Selling the house and splitting the proceeds will likely save you time and get you more money. If you do this after the divorce is completed or during the process, you may have to pay additional fees for your attorney to review the paperwork. Please make sure you are both committed to selling the house before signing a listing agreement or accepting an offer, because those are legally binding agreements and you don't want to be locked into them and have a buyer that comes around and tries to sue you because you didn't sell them the house that they wanted. If you don't wait until the sale is completed to start the divorce proceedings, it could delay the closing process, which means it takes more time to get your money and you get closed and you'll be able to move on. Many people going through divorce don't realize that one spouse can buy out the other and keep the home. It may be difficult with joint finances to figure out who has the ability to buy the other one out, but some couples do now have joint and separate accounts. The one who decides to stay will need to get a new loan and divide the equity with the other spouse. The one who isn't staying will lose the appreciation, and the one who is staying will accept all the liabilities of a new mortgage. This can be a full payment or a gradual payments if it's in the divorce decree. There may be several large assets to divide other than just a primary home. The spouses may prefer to split up assets like vacation homes, the boat, the RV, the stocks, rather than just the primary home. This can make things go quicker because you don't have to wait for the house to list and sell, and you'll still have to get the assets appraised so that the sharing of the assets is fair and agreed to. Divorcing spouses may decide to co-own their home, especially when they have children that are still waiting to graduate. This does still mean the payments and maintenance will have to be divided, but both spouses will benefit from the appreciation of the house. If you continue to co-own but only one spouse lives in the home, it could affect capital gains when you go to sell the property. To get the capital gains credit, you have to live in the home 2 out of the last 5 years. And this could be a large or a small consideration, depending on the value of your home and how much it appreciates when you go to sell. Another possibility with co-owning is using it as a rental property, or there's a new thing called bird nesting, where the child stays in the home and the parents take turns coming to live with the child. When do you have to sell a home during a divorce? Maybe neither of you can afford the home and its maintenance on your own. Make a budget of your own income and expenses before you decide to take on the mortgage. It may be too much, and the stress it will put on you is not worth it. The judge may order you to sell the home as part of the divorce decree. When you and your spouse can't agree on the value or the equity in the home, you'll have to sell it and split the proceeds. Oftentimes, it's just too emotionally painful for either spouse to stay in the home while all the memories of each other and their times together. When you bought your home, surely you were excited and optimistic about your future together. It's now likely to become your largest asset and will be the biggest pain and problem to make your divorce complete. It is important to have someone you trust to take you through the transaction of selling your home. Make sure your realtor is available whenever you have a question. My goal is to sell your home for the best price in the quickest amount of time with the least headaches. Do interview agents in your area to make sure their goals align with yours. To help you with all the details of divorce in your home, check out the download below in the description, 7 Crucial Considerations. Thanks for watching and see you next week.